This episode of the Aztec Legacy Show is brought to you by the Superb Network and Superb Sportswear. Log on to superbsportswear.com, enter Aztec30 for your discount code. Be superb in Superb Sportswear.
Legacy, 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 legacy.
Hello, welcome to the Aztec Legacy Show. Today we have a special guest, fellow wide receiver, and my boy. I actually DJ'd his wedding, and your brother's wedding,
Yeah,
right?
my brother's wedding.
Mr. Bill Hammett.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Coming in,
it,
brother. Yeah, so we're gonna jump right into this. This is a conversation about you, conversation about your journey to San Diego State, and that's it.
Right.
So, first question I have for you: where are you from, and what sports did you do growing up?
Yeah, so growing up, I grew up in Carlsbad. Pre-La Costa Canyon, pre the Kevin O'Connell era out there. Just when Carlsbad was a very middle class place. Played football, all the Pop Warner football. Played basketball. Played the baseball. Did all those things, and was a pretty average athlete coming up. You know.
But you have the height, though.
I was always tall. I just was skinny.
What was your best sport growing up?
I guess football, but even then, as I got older, as I got to 7th and 8th and 9th grade, I was just skinny and uncoordinated. I got big and tall and long, and I wasn't that great at anything. And then after 9th grade, my mom was getting remarried, moving to La Jolla. My dad was moving back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so I was like, I'm going to go live with my dad. So I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
From Carlsbad to Pittsburgh in 93, 94. And it was...
And you're how old?
I was 14, 15. Yeah.
Now that has to be a shock right there.
Man, I tell you what. Yeah, moving.
I'm just saying, from Cali weather, beaches,
Yeah.
and year-round beautiful weather,
Yeah.
to that, which
To
I'm not
minus
hating
22.
I'm not hating on the East Coast. I'm just saying it's different.
It was very different. My first winter got down to minus 22. Me and my dad were just two Cali boys living out in Pittsburgh. I didn't know anybody at all. Went to this high school that was nearby, and I was a tight end because I was tall and slow, and so I kind of played tight end. And I go to this school, and the very first summer practice, they're like, all right, DBs over here, running backs here, wide receivers here, O-linemen there, all right, break. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, where's the tight ends? And they're like, oh, we run the run and shoot. It's only wide receivers here. And I was like, oh man, I made the wrong call. Yeah. But that was right at the time where I was getting coordinated, and I played very early in my sophomore year, but didn't play that well. Then they said, okay, well, we threw you to the Wolves, so we're going to send you down to JV. So here I am starting on varsity the first game of the year at wide receiver. I go to JV, and I'm not even playing at all.
Yeah.
And then about halfway through the year, not playing at all, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I was just playing. Now I'm not even playing at this level. One of the outside linebackers broke his collarbone, and everybody was very confused on who went in. And so I just ran in. And I just went in, and I put my nose in there, and thought I was going to be a linebacker.
That's how you do it, though.
Yeah.
Because, so just a fun fact. I mean, obviously, I had opportunities in the NFL, and it was all cool. But it never really, made it, in my opinion. But there was a moment in practice where we had a second-round draft pick from the previous year that I got there, and he was messing up, and we were doing a blitz drill or something like that, and we're wide receivers, obviously, and when a blitz happens on your side, you got to adjust.
Yeah.
So he kept messing up. He wasn't picking up the blitz, and Bill Belichick just yells out, "Give me somebody in here that knows what he's doing." Oh, God. I get in the huddle, and it's hilarious because I get in the huddle, and I'm like, Randy Moss, Wes Welker. I'm like, Tom Brady. I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? And I'm like, oh, well. And so he says the plan. I run out there, and sure enough, blitz on my side. I adjust, catch that joint, take to the house.
Oh.
I housed it.
Oh.
And this is with Rodney Harrison out there. This is with Junior.
Yeah.
This is with this is the team that just almost went undefeated and lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That team.
Wow.
So look good for me. But back to your story. That is exactly what you got to do. That is exactly what you have to do. Anybody watching this that is coming up, when they say, give me a guy, don't even think. Think after you get there.
Opportunities don't get handed to you. You got to just go grab it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we did that. I did that, played linebacker, and then that summer, I thought, okay, I better get ready to play linebacker. And at the very end of the year, the end of that football year, went to PE, and I was wearing a cutoff shirt. Mind you, I'm 6'2", 150 pounds at this time. And one of our coaches was the PE coach, and he's like, what are these garden hoses here? What are these blue buggy whips? We got little garden snakes hanging from your shoulders?
He was clowning.
In front of everybody, and everybody was laughing. And that was my origin story. From there, I put on, from that December to that next summer, I put on 30 pounds. My dad was feeding me double pork chops and mashed potatoes, and I was working out 4 days a week with the school. I was working out 4 nights a week with my dad, and I put on tons of weight. And that next summer league going my junior year, I just was bigger, faster, stronger than everybody, and I was a big wideout, and that was it.
How do you think moving from here to there affected you? Like, do you think it would have the same outcome would have came if you would have stayed?
To a certain extent, I think cream rises to the top, but having that full change, being able to go there, first of all the way through 9th grade, I was Billy. And I was like, man, how am I going to live in this world as an adult? They call it Billy. Now, no offense to anybody called Billy out there, but I just felt so childish. And so I get to Pittsburgh, they're like, what's your name? I was like, Bill. So I got to change. So I got to be. I was like, right then, I was like, I get to decide who I am. Nobody knows me here.
Yeah.
And so I get to decide what kind of person I am and how I want to be. I'm not stuck with any people I grew up with thinking I'm this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And just the change. I mean, when you're in 9th grade, you're watching the seniors play varsity. You're like, man, am I ever going to be good enough to do that?
Uh-huh.
And then I get to Pittsburgh, and the same talent. I mean, Western Pennsylvania football is major. And so, I was like, I think I could play with these guys. And going into my senior year, it was me and LeVar Arrington on the cover of the football preview.
Hey!
Thunder.
So
they called it Thunder and Lightning, and whenever we'd see each other, it was Thunder and Lightning. That was the joke.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so was he at your school, or were
he was at the rival school right across.
Oh, rival school. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was like when you were on one side, he's on the
No, man, that
right
dude was.
side, left side, right, white, strong side, left side.
No, he was at the rival school.
All right. So, what good habits do you think you developed? Let's just say, as a kid first, and then once you moved, what other habits you developed that helped you get to San Diego State or to college?
Just the simplicity and the beauty of hard work. Just hard work. That whole thing, I was too skinny to make a difference on the football field, and I was so embarrassed when that coach made fun of me that I was determined to get bigger and get stronger. And then, but just to get bigger so I wasn't embarrassed. But then I get out there on the football field and I'm pushing, I'm running past people, I'm jumping over people, and I was like, man, okay, hard work, plus dedication equals what I wanted it to be. And so, ever since then, those are the easiest lessons. You can just get there, if you just work hard.
And what's crazy is, people say it all the time, but how many people actually put in the work?
Yeah.
One thing that I try to instill in my children is, like you like to see all these famous guys on TV making these crazy catches or these amazing plays. My kids play soccer, so it's like, oh, you like that goal. Well, he didn't just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
He actually put in the work, and there's shows nowadays. What's cool is we do have YouTube, and a lot of people post a lot of like guys like that training and what they do, and social media. Guys post themselves training. So now children coming up, they can see that. Like, they're not just seeing game day, they're seeing what they did to lead up to
everything. That's where you show off the work. That is not the work.
Absolutely.
The work is when nobody's around.
All right. So, on the other side of that, what bad habits did you see in others and yourself that you would stay away from?
Oof.
Or you would tell somebody coming up?
Social, man. I've been always, I love people and love being around the action and what's going on.
But that's not necessarily bad,
it
though.
Can get a little bad.
No, but okay. So one thing I always try to, when I go back and speak to really the San Diego State kids, I try to tell them, like, right now is your time to build your network.
Yes.
You know, the guy you're working out with every day, or the girl you're training against, competing against every day in practice, they potentially are going to be your business partner.
Sure.
I.e. me and Marvin Underwood.
Yeah.
You know, we've been business partners since 2009.
Yeah.
So my point is, it's about the social. It's about networking. Now, are you referring to a certain social something else?
I mean,
world?
The positive social, when that sun goes down, it gets a little bit less productive.
After midnight?
No, but I mean, but see, that's, I still have so many friends. I mean, guys we've known for so long, guys like you, guys like Junior, guys like Bo Tricky, who I still talk to every day, you know. And part of that is I don't do business with all these people, but these people say, hey, you should talk to Bill about the insurance thing, blah, 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 whatever. And so, I mean, the social thing has always been important to me. Sometimes it took away from maybe a homework assignment, you know. Yeah. Sometimes it took away from getting up to that 8 a.m. class all the time. But, I mean, you know, so that would be...
So it's not particularly being social. It's just the amount of social
yes.
that you are interacting with or taking on, and then the time that you may be doing.
Yeah, maybe a little bit better time management.
Got it. Okay, that's good. All right, who were your favorite athletes growing up?
Oh man, I loved Sterling Sharp. You know, Sterling Sharp, the wide receiver of the Packers. Yep. Ed McCaffrey, I was always big into. He was, when I was a junior, senior high school, all the way through junior college, he was one of the best receivers in the game, and he was, of course, a big, tall, lanky, goofy white boy like me. So I got a lot of those comparisons. So I like those guys. But of course, Bo Jackson, still to this day, is one of my favorites.
Nice.
You know, the Bo and Mike and Michael Jordan. You know, of course.
Thank you.
Of course, Mike.
What was your focus on in high school, and how did it change? Actually, let's just stick with that. What was your focus in high school?
Focus in high school was playing the next level. You know.
So you did have aspirations.
Yes, I wanted to. I never really felt like I was like an NFL player, but I knew that I had more in me than what was going on in high school. I was just feeling like I was getting my body together, and I was able to run fast, jump high. You know, played basketball. I was a really good hurdler. I could long jump a million miles. And I wanted to do more athletic stuff, and I just loved the people in the locker room, you know, of course, and so social. So I wanted to do more of that and get myself through school, and then, you know, and then see what happens after that.
Nice. So let's go back. Let's go to now. Is it your junior year that you became linebacker?
Junior year, sophomore year, I thought I was a linebacker and on JV.
Okay.
And then right after sophomore year, they made fun of me. I put on 35 pounds. Because I thought I was gonna be a linebacker that year. And so I get into summer league, and I'm just killing them as a wideout. And now my confidence is crazy. I'm running by people. I didn't realize I could run that fast.
Yeah.
And so then senior year, I was supposed to be all kinds of stuff. Got a high ankle sprain like in game 3.
The worst. This foot, I always get ankle sprains, and I've got multiple high ankle sprains.
Yeah. So I was off to, I had like 10 for 150 and 3 touchdowns the first game of my senior year, and I'm like, man, this is easy.
Yeah.
And then game 3, got the ankle, and then that started 6 days a week in the boot, didn't practice, and just played Friday night. And that was it. Had to go bring extra shoes because when the coaches would come in, I couldn't come hobbling down to my coach's office when a head coach came in and the boots, so I had to go get another shoe, put that on.
Also, nobody knew that?
Nobody knew. And I played both ways. I didn't come off the field.
Wait, and so if nobody knew, how did you not practice?
I just wasn't practicing that day. We didn't have as many coming out to practice. They would come out and see us during the week. And if I knew somebody was going to be there, I'd go out there and run around.
Oh, you mean college coaches?
College coaches, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you meant your coaches. I'm like,
no. They all knew. No, they all knew.
No, you were hurt.
They all knew. They all knew.
Well, take that back then.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah, no, they all knew it, and that was just about halfway through the season. We were playing poorly, and so my coach was like, "The best players play," and so then I played free safety the rest of the year, that was a fun position to play, and return kicks, and I was a long snapper too. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how it was in high school. I don't know if it's still like that because I'm not really around high school sports like that, but I felt like I played everything. I don't even think I came off the field.
Yeah.
I might have came off the field for field goal, maybe.
I was snapping the ball for that.
Oh, yeah, you can come off the field. That's crazy. Okay, so just to get everybody up to speed, you are still on the East Coast.
At this point, yeah, I'm still in Pittsburgh.
Still on the East Coast.
Going through senior year, graduate from high school, and then
what high school you go to? Shout them out.
Shaler area high school, the Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Titans.
The Titans.
Do you have any notable teammates on that team that might have been on?
No, I mean in football, I mean there's a bunch of players, a lot of good dudes out there that played some college ball, but nobody played the D1 level. Basketball, there was a guy named Danny Fortson that played for Cincinnati and then played in the league for a long time.
Okay.
He was there, but it wasn't traditionally a very athletic high school. We don't have a lot of dudes that came out there. The most notable in the area was LeVar Arrington across town, but yeah. Western PA, man, there was a lot of players came out of there every year. Not a lot from my school though.
Got it. All right, so let's get to the recruiting. How was recruiting for you?
Recruiting was fun. I mean, the first handwritten letter I ever got was from the University of North Carolina.
Okay.
And North Carolina and Northwestern were hot and heavy on me, and then all the other letters, and then the first call I ever got was from North Carolina. So I don't even know how they do it nowadays, but back then it was like on this date they could start to call, and so all of us were like, all right, so I wonder am I going to get a call? Mm-hmm. How's it going to go? Yeah. And then sure enough, the phone rings and it's North Carolina, and I had a bunch of calls, and that was a lot of fun. Went on a couple trips, I was going to go on some trips, and I kind of fell into that, we're going to offer these guys or those guys, if you don't do this. North Carolina, by the time that came up to that, they had backed off. Northwestern, that was the year they went to the Rose Bowl. And so I kind of was everybody's third receiver they liked. And then they started getting all their guys. And so I was like, I'm just going to go to a place I think I can play right away, play a lot, maybe set a record, who knows. Mm-hmm. So I went to the University of Akron high school. Okay. So went to Akron, and I was the first receiver coming in off the bench.
Yeah, that's why I love these, because I had no idea.
Akron. So I go to Akron, and coming out of, we're about ready to break camp. In that last scrimmage, I tear my shoulder to shreds, just get full separation. And so then I redshirted. Mm-hmm. And the spring, everything was different, new coaches, and they were going to throw the ball deep and run the ball. And this is not a deep threat wide receiver body, and so it's not. It's not. And so they were not as interested in me. I was not as interested in them. And so I left and went to Grossmont College. Came back to San Diego.
Okay, but what made you feel like it wasn't going to work there? Because
I was the big receiver recruit coming in. I was a big receiver recruit. They ran a, running back, tight end, 2 receiver set. And then whenever they brought a third receiver in, my true freshman year was me, and so I was the guy. Yeah. And then that spring it was not like that anymore. My receiver coach left. One of the defensive coaches was now the receiver coach, and me and him did not get along. He did not appreciate my skill set.
Got it. And then what made you go to Grossmont out of, obviously you have the entire nation that you could have.
Yeah. So I came out here, I came back to San Diego, and I was like, all right, JC's, that's a good way to go, because my dad was like, listen, you can play some football. Sure, you can go leave and walk on somewhere, and then you're not going to play for a year or two, and then what are you going to do? So I wanted to play. And so I went and saw Tom Kraft at Palomar, and he was like, hey, you can come or not, I don't really care. We got wideouts, we got this, we got that. So anyway, hope to see you.
Kraft. Like that?
Thanks, Coach Kraft. Thank you. And so he was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, but anyway, this is so-and-so. He'll show you around campus. See you later. And so then I was like, okay, word, all right. So then I come down to.
So you didn't feel the love.
No. So then I was like, Grossmont, that puts out a lot. They put out a lot of dudes, and they throw the ball a lot. And so I go down there and I see Coach Dave Jordan, R.I.P. Coach Dave Jordan, and he was very personable. He was super nice, and then he was like, we'd love to have you. We just put 4 wideouts into Division I last year. So all 4 of their wideouts went to Division I. And
spots.
I was like, okay. So then I went there and played right away, tore my MCL on my second catch. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? I left a D1 scholarship. Now here I am, laying on the ground, playing against Bakersfield, Joey Mayo, Jermaine Watkins, Kevin Burton was all on that team. Those were all my teammates. They left just before you. And tore that up. Came back by the end of that year. I missed about 4 or 5 games. Came back after that. I played like 5 games my sophomore year out of Hawaii and Idaho State and Nevada and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'll come back and play another year and see if I can. If I can do something better.
So you were I don't know how that works with JC.
So I redshirted at Akron.
Oh, you redshirted?
Because I got hurt right away.
Got it.
Right before he broke camp, I got hurt, so I redshirted.
Got it.
And then.
So when you said, because you said that you were the third receiver to come in.
That's how it was going through all camp.
That's how it's gonna be. Yeah. Your true freshman year.
True freshman.
Till you got hurt.
Till I got hurt, and then I was like, okay, well, you're redshirting.
Got it. Okay.
And so then Grossmont redshirt freshman year, tore MCL. Yeah. Played half the season, came back my sophomore year, and going into that year, I was training a lot different than I trained back in the East.
Pause 1 second. So you had offers after you were injured to those schools that you just named, and you said, "I'm coming back."
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to.
I mean, those are quality schools, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are, yes.
I'm just clarifying. Yeah. I'm just clarifying that you passed up on some offers.
Yeah, because I felt
come back.
Yeah, I wanted to go. I don't know. I thought I could do better, and I settled into a friend group, bunch of really good people that very different people from different upbringings. That I really enjoyed. I didn't want to leave San Diego again right away, and so I came back for my sophomore year at junior college, and all year on my tape I wrote SYG, which meant State Your Goal. I wanted to go to San Diego State. My dad played at San Diego State. I'm from San Diego. I already left San Diego. I didn't want to go anywhere else. Yeah. And so I balled. I balled that year, and
you gotta tell it. You can't just say I balled. You gotta give it something.
It was like
something.
50 for a G and about 8 or 9 touchdowns.
Nice.
It was, and we were. There was 4 wideouts, and there was ball thrown all over the place.
And how did that feel for you, coming from Akron getting hurt, next year Grossmont getting hurt, now you had a full season and you balled?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
You feel invincible. I mean, you feel incredible. You feel like you can. Now I'm really ready to go. Now I'm really ready to go somewhere and do something. So
now who's calling? We gotta know who we were competing with.
I had a bunch of all the WAC schools. Nevada was back. Hawaii was back. And
I like how you said all them WAC.
All the WAC schools. And then Purdue came in. Oregon came in really late, but my coach was very upset because the Union Tribune came out and did a story on me, and that was the first time I ever told anybody what SYG meant. And
so you kind of.
And so I was kind of like, because I had offers from a bunch of people and not a breath from San Diego State, and I lived basically on campus at that time. And so the paper comes out, you know, blah, 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 whatever, and, you know, he really wants to go to San Diego State, but that's the only school in the conference that hasn't hit me up. And so about 8 a.m., I get a call from Ted Tollner. He's like, hey, we'd love to see you, talk to you. I'm like, you know, I can come up with my highlight tape guy, by the way, VHS tape.
Yeah. Did you do it?
My dad did it.
My dad did mine too.
Yeah.
Shout out to the dads.
Yeah, the original videographer, yeah.
Yes.
So brought that up to him, gave him that, talked for a few minutes, left, and by the time I got home, he called and offered me a scholarship, and I told him I needed to think about it. Which I hung up, I'm like, what the fuck? I just was trying to play it extra cool, I guess, I don't know.
I guess. What if you would have said, you don't have time to think about it?
I would have just said yes. I knew that's where I wanted to be. So I didn't want to leave again. I wanted to go to San Diego State. Always growing up, San Diego State. I grew up. I was going to all the games. I was all my dad and all his buddies would sit in the section 22, and I had all the peanuts. I was the peanut kid. All my dad's friends were so much fun. I'd come out later on going to games as an adult. There's a lot of beer involved in that fun, but
social.
So yeah, I wanted to go to San Diego State, so I came here.
Nice. All right. So, what did you learn from your journey? Let's just say the entire journey from, you know, as a kid playing all the sports, not being as coordinated, then moving, then growing into your body, you know, having some success, being recruited by, those are some quality schools that you're being recruited out of high school. Then to go to Akron, you chose Akron. Actually, I don't know if I asked you why you chose Akron.
The coach, Joe Palmisano, this receiver coach, I love this dude. I thought he was great. I really wanted to play for him. I really liked him a lot. And I didn't think I was an NFL caliber player. You know, I mean, a lot of my friends in high school, you know, the yearbook, people say all kinds of stuff about, you know, see you on Sunday and stuff, and I thought it was very nice, but I never thought I was that nice, you know, so I just wanted to play. And then get on with my life.
Just to follow up with that, do you think that hindered you from getting to Sundays, that mentality?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Because I really don't think anybody can, I know most people can't tell the future, like whether they're going to play on Sundays or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the guys that will themselves there, that mentally, I don't care what happens to me, I'm going to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
That most of the time, more often than not, they don't have these Hall of Fame careers, but they at least sniff
They do, yeah.
the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you that.
Yeah,
do you think, looking back, you know, if you would have had a different mentality, and this is for the kids out there that are feeling the same way you felt.
Yeah.
If they had if they changed their mentality to, I can do this, because let's be clear, you would play on Sundays if you could.
Sure.
Right?
By the time that came along, I was a broken human being. Everything was broken.
But I'm just
Sure.
clarifying that you did want to do it.
Sure.
You just didn't think mentally that you could.
Yeah, I just didn't think I was that kind of player.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think, now looking back, injuries aside,
injuries were a big.
but talent-wise, the body that God gave you, the talents He gave you, the hard work that we had talked about, do you think you could have done it?
I think it was a lot more possible to do it if I had a different mentality towards it. But again, well, who knows? I don't think I was good enough to do it. But maybe that was part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's kids out there that probably feel the same way as you, and if we could just help them understand that sometimes if you change your mentality,
sure,
you can at least sniff.
Sure.
I'm not saying you're gonna be Hall of Fame. I'm just saying you're gonna sniff, at least sniff. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So now that you're at San Diego State, or now that you chose San Diego State, what is the difference that you saw from Akron to Grossmont to San Diego State, what was the difference?
I had a very, very clear difference. So in junior college, I lined up against the DB and got to just, watch out. At San Diego State, man, DBs were benching 350. Guys like, I came in and guys like Tyroo Smith and Azar Abdul-Rahim, not big guys, but very strong. So the strength of DBs was totally the biggest difference. That was, and then also getting in the huddle and being not one of the bigger people in the huddle. That was a very different. Linemen are 6'5", 6'6", and it wasn't like that in junior college and high school. With Akron, there was some bigger guys, but.
So what were some of the challenges once you got San Diego State? Let's just say that first camp. Mm-hmm. Because did you come to do spring ball?
I came in the spring, yeah.
So you did spring ball?
So yeah, I finished up. I was in my last season in junior college was when they played the Vegas Bowl. So that'd be '98. Mm-hmm. So the spring of '99 is when I came in, and I moved to the slot as a slot receiver because I was not D-Lou. I was not 4'4", 4'5" guy. I was a route runner. I was a cerebral receiver.
Me too. I call it move the chains receiver.
Heck yeah, man. And so finding those spaces was tough, and there's a lot of things happening. Getting the playbook down, and it's hard to play when you're thinking about what you're playing. So that first spring, trying to absorb that playbook, and also try to be natural out there was one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, I had the same issue when I got to the NFL. Like, I was not a West Coast offense guy, mm-hmm. but when I got to the Patriots, it was like that offense was perfect for me. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I picked it up, quickly, and I got cut and brought back so many times, but it was like it never left my head, so I could just hop in and go. Yeah, it made sense. Mm-hmm. West Coast offense, not so much. I went to the Chargers and the Niners and the Seahawks, all of them West Coast, and I sucked at every single one of those places.
Is that when it's not like the route tree? You're not saying numbers, right? They're saying like Joker, and that means the whole thing, or
no? Because that was kind of like the Patriots. Patriots, they would start off numbers, right? Mm-hmm. But then they would give it names, and that was good for me.
Yeah.
It was when the West Coast offense, similar, but they would they would do a bunch of shifts and motions before anything happens, right?
Yeah.
And your route, you could go out of the huddle and think, okay, I got this. But as soon as someone shifts over to your side, it changes. Your route changes.
Yeah.
Then someone else moves. Now your route changes again. So I was just like, I don't know what I got. I'm out there like, what do I have? A lot of thinking.
That's still a recurring, like, this is so sick, and people that didn't play football don't understand how we can still this many years later have dreams and stuff like that. But one of my recurring nightmares is going out to football practice and breaking the huddle and being like, I'm not sure what that play. I don't know what that play is. I was so confident, ready to break, and then you get to the line, you're like, oh, I don't. And it's still to this day I'll have that. Now that's coming back to being unprepared for things, and in my real life, maybe. Social, yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So I understand what you were going through right there. But okay, so once you got to San Diego State, and now you're in camp, you said you was kind of struggling with the plays and the whole playbook stuff. But like as far as playing time and getting in, like, did you go right in and get to play?
Not really. I mean, I got to at slot. Me and Lonnie Mitchell shared time at the slot, so I got to play, a little bit, about half the time, during those years. And then my senior year, 2000, again, kind of split time with Sean Pierce there. So, I mean, I, got to check the box and got to have a nice little career, but it was not. There was no major accolades that came with it, but it was, part of what football is the family, is the locker room, is the people you meet, and so that was fantastic.
Yeah, so one thing I ask everybody is if you can place a phone call to your 18-year-old self, what would you call and tell yourself?
Yeah, I probably would tell them to go home a little earlier on Tuesday and Wednesday night. You know what else is nutrition? Like, back in those days, nobody, like, they sent us to the comp and they gave us the food card. There's cheeseburgers and there's, you know, there's all the things you just ate.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about, and it seems so obvious now, but what you put in your body is fuel, and we're trying to be sports cars, you know, and cheeseburgers or French fries don't do it, you know. So that would be, you know, kind of cutting off the irresponsible social behavior, you know, curbing that a little bit, and then nutrition, eating better.
And do you think you would have listened?
I think I would have listened to it, some of it.
Some of it?
But you can't tell it. You can't tell a 20-year-old kid much.
What part of that would you listen to? The food part or the
food
going
part.
home a little early on Tuesday?
The food part.
All right, and last two questions. Well, let's go with the negative for a second. What was disappointing about SDSU for you while you were there?
I wish they had more bowl games. You know, we had a lot of talent. We played really well. Two things about college football that exist today that didn't exist then. Number one, instant replay. Because with instant replay, we beat Carson Palmer and the USC Trojans in the Coliseum because he threw the ball backwards. Y'all know, if y'all saw it, anybody that played there, he threw the ball backwards and we scooped it up. I think it was Martin Klumack scooped it up and went for a score, but they blew it dead. But then bowl games, like back then they only had like 15 bowl games or something like that. You know, you had to win. You're San Diego State. You had to win 9 or 10 games to go to a bowl game. Yeah. You know, and that would have been so much fun to get that extra couple of weeks of practice, to go travel with all your friends to, you know, could be Albuquerque. Who cares? You know, just going on those trips and letting that world extend for another few more weeks.
I feel you, man.
Because after the season's over, it's a whole nother.
I didn't get to go to any bowl games. We used Hawaii as one of our bowl. It was like our last game of the season.
Yeah.
We basically used that as a bowl game. All right, and then what is something you love about San Diego State?
I mean, I'm proud of my city. I'm proud of my school. I've always loved San Diego State. I'm proud of what they've been able to do with building SDSU West and building that stadium when nobody said we could do it. So I meant when you was there.
Oh,
when I was there. Okay.
Not now.
I was proud of what I did. I was proud of being there with you know, being amongst those athletes that I thought were a lot more talented than me, and hold my own and playing against those opponents and going heads up with some of the biggest, nastiest dudes around.
Yeah, and some of your teammates, I mean, they played on the
I mean, both Baja Villamillas I played with, you know, Andrew Klein and Mike Milano, and, you know, guys like Marviel Underwood, you know, and all these other guys. There's a lot of dudes that we played with that went on and played. I got the 99 team photo I've got it in my bathroom in my house. There's all sports stuff everywhere. And in that one
picture,
a
bunch of guys are looking at you while you're on the toilet. Is that what you're saying? You said in your bathroom.
Yeah, it's in my bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, to each their own.
Thanks. Now I got to move everything. I never thought about it like that.
To each their own. Hey, man, you like looking at grown men while you're taking handling your business?
I gotta make sure my wife, we gotta change that.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
It's about building up the legacy of San Diego State, letting the future San Diego State Aztecs that we hope to see in the future know about you, your journey, and hopefully learn from your journey and maybe do some great things in their lives.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me.
Wide out.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta end with that.
Legacy, 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 legacy.